Ron Clymer. I'm in Florida. I'm a Florida real estate broker, and I want to answer your question today about how long does it take for foreclosure from start to finish. So I thought, man, there's a bunch of answers to that question, but I went to the computer and I took the foreclosures that are happening during the month of July 2025. That's next month. There's 21 of them, I think, set. And there's an average from the time that the sheriffs walked up to somebody's front door and handed them what we in Florida call a complaint. Handed them a complaint that says you're being sued for foreclosure. And when it actually goes to foreclosure auction, which means it's sold and they no longer own the property. That's an average of 16 months in Volusia County, Florida, where I am. And now, here's the deal. During that 16 months, there's a lot of things happen. Some people work real hard to drag that process out. They're the ones that take 26 months. And there's others that just say, fine, I'm not going to make the payments. Let me get out of here. And they go somewhere else. And the minimum I saw was 5 months. And I think you could probably get it done maybe a little bit shorter than that, but not much, because there's time frame for everything that has to happen throughout that. But here's what happens. And here's what breaks my heart is here's a person that obviously can't make their payments. And 9 times out of 10, this is caused by something that they can't help. Death, divorce, loss of a job, injury, car injury. These guys you see on TV that were in a car accident and some attorney got them a bunch of money, and usually it's not even enough money. But here's the deal. That person is being foreclosed on. And I know from talking to hundreds of these people throughout my career that it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. But it doesn't matter whose fault it is. They're the ones that's not making their payments, and that's all the bank cares about. They're not making their payments. We want our money. And so we want to get the house sold. Well, here's what happens. In Florida, it takes about 6 months before the bank even sends the guy out with the summons. So if this is June, which it is, it's June here, they made their last payment in December or maybe January. So they haven't made a payment this year. Now let's, as an example, let's use a $300,000 house, and let's say they owe $200,000 on it at 6%. Well, you're familiar with making a mortgage payment, PITI. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So just their payments on the house are interest. What did I say they owe? $200,000. 6%, that's $12,000 a year, divided by 12, that's $1,000 a month. So they're 6 months behind before we even start on the interest. Then, the second thing in Florida, well, is the insurance. And insurance in Florida, I don't know, you guys that don't live in Florida don't really care, but we got hurricanes down here. Insurance is through the roof expensive. It's incredible. And so we got lots of people that absolutely can hardly afford to pay their insurance payments. It's nothing to be paying $3,000 a year on a house for your insurance. Well, that's another $500 a month. And there's more to that story than meets the eye, because if you're not making your payments, you make your payments PI, principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. So your insurance has to be paid, but you're not paying it to the bank. The bank buys their own insurance, and it costs quadruple what you're paying. It's called forced insurance, and it's insurance that the bank buys and adds to your mortgage balance. So what happens is, and then you got your taxes. As I said, taxes, $300,000 house, probably about $3,000 a year. So there you got $2,000 a month. Click, click, click. A lot of people get the illusion, and it is truly an illusion, that if I'm in the house, you say I can stay in here as long as 26 months? Well, yeah, but it's going to cost you at least $2,000 a month. to stay in it because the interest doesn't stop, the insurance doesn't stop, the taxes don't stop, none of that stuff stops. Well, here's what happens. You got your $300,000 house in June of 2025. Mr. Realtor, Ron, says, hey, why don't you list that house with me? I'll sell it for you. You can walk out the door with about $75,000 cash in your pocket. How's that sound? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to hang in here and live free for 12, 15 months. You're not living free. You can't live free. What's going to happen when it finally goes to auction next year, let's say it takes a year, which is usual. So it takes a year. This time next year, you've been living there for free. It sells at auction. Well, let's best case scenario. Let's say it sells for $250,000 at auction. So somebody buys it from the clerk of the court for $250,000. The mortgage is paid off, but now the mortgage is not $200,000 like it was this time last year. It's $200,000 plus $2,000 and actually a little bit more per month that you've paid, or that you haven't paid, that you owe. That's taken out of what's called surplus funds. Now, here's another thing, and I got a whole video about this that you might want to watch. It's called the biggest mistake that people make when their house is foreclosed on, and that's this. So this time next year, the house does sell at auction, and let's say it sells for $250,000, like I said. And sure enough, and the bank gets $235,000 of that. Well, what happens to the other $15,000? Well, here's the answer. If the person that's been foreclosed on contacts the clerk of the court and says, can I get that $15,000? They'll mail them a check. But would you believe this? 80% of the people that are foreclosed on in Florida don't ask for that money. And what do you think happens to it? It forfeits to the state of Florida after a couple of years. And 80% of the people, I mean, if they had, and by the way, if they're in Volusia County, I probably knocked on their door and said, hey, let me come talk to you, give you some advice. No, we don't need any advice. 80% of them, if they'd have listened to that advice, they'd have had $15,000 more just for listening to me. So get some advice, learn some stuff, watch my videos, watch other people's videos from Florida. Don't watch those ones from other states, man. They will confuse you. You watch the ones from Florida. And by the way, foreclosures, they're going to double in the next year. There's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know what your politics are, but there's a lot of things that's going to happen next year that's going to cause foreclosures to go up. And I want you, if you're being foreclosed on, I'd like to help you. Give me a call. I promise I'll help you. If nothing else, I'll make you feel a little better. Just talking to me, tell you a couple of jokes. But anyway, hit the subscribe button if this is doing you some good. And I've got several other videos that you need to see. Most of them are just about this long, so it's not like they're going to kill you. And so listen to them. If I can help you with anything, my phone number was in the first scene. In fact, here, let me hold it up again. There's my phone number. The 828 number is my cell phone. And so give me a call if I can help you. And that's all I've got. Thank you so much.